Okay, 135 2.2a. I hope you watched 2.1 before you move on. Make sure you've almost mastered 2.1. I didn't say did master, just almost mastered. If you don't feel confident about moving values away from the variable, in other words, when to add, when to subtract, when to multiply, when to divide, how to switch the numbers over and do all that, and you just kind of breeze through it, or you might have used somebody to give you a whole bunch of answers, I probably wouldn't move on yet because it's only going to confuse you more. Make sure you understand solving is the opposite of evaluating. So when we evaluate, we follow PEMDAS. That means parentheses are first, exponent second, multiplication, division, if you remember, third, addition, subtraction, fourth. So in most situations in solving and evaluating, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, when you're going to solve, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of that way. Don't worry about the 3 and 4 portion, but the key idea to understand is that when you're solving, in most situations, again, I'm saying most, addition and subtraction will go before multiplication, division. And again, that is because if I was taking a number, 2 times x plus 1 equals, let's say, 9, if I plug a number in here, the first thing I would do to evaluate it is I would multiply by 2, then add 1, which means backwards, the first thing I would do is subtract 1, divide by 2. Again, thinking opposite. If multiply by 2, add 1, and we're going opposite, then we step backwards. It'll be subtract 1, divide by 2. So be sure to copy the examples. They represent all the problems you're going to see in today's homework. Again, I'm giving you direct questions. I'm not giving you any kind of word problems yet because I want you to focus on making sure your decisions are right. Questions you're going to see today are going to say, for example, what values are with x? And you will need to tell me that 2 and 13 are with x. You have to recognize that 47 is not a significant number in terms of x. 2 and 13 are the numbers we must get rid of. It's also going to say which number should I move first. And again, the weaker number, or the number you would do last in the order of operations, is usually going to be your addition subtraction. That's usually going to go first, and it will go first today. So this 13 is going to go first, and of course we move it by subtracting it. And then the 2 is going to go second, and from, again, your instincts, you know that you should be, because that's multiplication, we would divide. So what you will put on your box is minus 13, minus 13. I draw a line because I'm on paper, but your computer doesn't draw the line. But on paper, this is more what it looks like. You bring down your 2x because remember that went away. 47 minus 13 is 34. We now need to get rid of 2, so divide by 2, divide by 2. Again, I draw a line because it's on paper, but on your computer it won't. The 2's go away, x comes down with 17. There's your answer. That's how easy it is once you have your decisions down. But again, if you don't have your decisions, go back and master 2.1. Even if you have to do a whole bunch of similar questions or send me emails, just make sure you have it mastered. Here, the numbers with x are negative 5. Remember, you had to put that negative, negative 5, and 4. You can put it in any order your computer will accept it. The key thing is the weakest number, the number we move first, is this number because in order of operations it would go last, so in the backwards direction it goes first. So we put plus 5 plus 5. We bring down x over 4, which you will have to type, and 13 and 5 make 18. Now we need to get rid of the 4. Well, this is divided by 4, so we will do times 4, which gives us x equals, that's 2, 3, 72. And that's it. So again, you have to write this step, write your x over 4, your 18, write that step the way we learned, which is with parentheses, and then x equals 72, and go from there. So those are your two main things that are going to make you answer a lot of questions, but there are other questions on here that you'll see that you need to be ready for because we are starting to give you more decisions. So again, your addition subtraction is typically going to go first. So 3 is the number with x, so we need to get rid of that 3 because it's being added by subtracting 3. What you don't want to do is forget the negative attached to x, and then you bring down this part. Well, this is where that flip comes in. We cannot end with a negative x. What we will do is we will flip the x, flip the 8. That will be your answer. You do not have to show work on a lot of these questions because, again, you're pretty much in remote learning, and I didn't want to have you going crazy doing that. But here's the thing for those of you who are using those apps to do it. I'm not going to catch you yet, but solving goes through all of Algebra 1. It goes through all of Algebra 2. If you at least don't put the time in to learn the answers that you might be using, eventually it's going to catch up to you. and you're not going to be able to pass a class. So you might pass Algebra 1 by using apps, you might pass Geometry by using apps, and then Algebra 2 comes along and you don't know and you're eventually going to fail. Just learn it now. Again, it's a lot easier to do that. Here's another different situation you're looking at. And the thing about this is it's kind of backwards. The closest number to x is 3. The furthest number from x is 9. And the other thing you have to look out for, because you are going to move this 9 first, is that you don't subtract 9, because this is a minus 9. And the way I move a minus 9, if you remember, is by adding 9. So that is the trick part you need to be paying attention to when you copy this, because you don't move this by looking at that sign. That belongs to the 3. The number attached to the 9 is negative, so we use its opposite. We bring down 3x. We bring down 30. We then want to get rid of this 3, so we will, divide by 3. Divide by 3. 3's go away, and x is equal to 10. There will be negatives. There will be big numbers. There will be a whole bunch of different situations for you to deal with on your homework. Just make sure, again, you are working and using your calculator and asking questions when you get stuck. Negative 4x minus 7 equals 9. Again, the first thing I would do is get rid of that plus minus number. So that minus 7 is going to move by adding 7. Do not forget that there is a negative 4 attached to x. 9 and 7 make 16. But here is where I need to teach you something else. So again, another star problem here. I would not divide by negative 4. Even though you get away with it this chapter, it'll kill you in chapter 3. So practicing properly will help you out. Again, follow my instructions or follow my advice and it'll pay off. Don't follow it and you're pretty much on your own, and good luck to you. I would suggest that before you multiply or divide, that you switch that negative, because I don't want the negative there anyway. So what I'm going to do is switch everything around, and then I'm going to divide by 4. And get my answer. And the last new type of question you're going to see is a fraction. Mathematically speaking, that is 4/7 times x, which means we could do, if you have a good calculator, you're good at numbers, 8 divided by 4/7, and you could get your answer of 14. But most of us don't do that in our heads. Most of us don't like fractions. So here's what I do when it comes to these problems. I remember that to get rid of a bottom number, a number being divided, I multiply. So what I'm going to do first, because I don't like fractions, is multiply by 7. That makes my 7's go away over here, which leaves me 4 in x equal to 56. From there, I divide by 4, divide by 4, and that is where you get your 14. 4 goes into 5 once with 1 left over, and there's your 14 that you're looking for. You will have to practice these things. You will have to, and like I said, if I were you, because I didn't give you a lot of each one, but you understand your test, your quiz is going to have all these questions on it, and so you might want to make sure you understand it. But the easiest way to do that is to make sure you hit similar question a couple times until you can get through it smoothly. If you can't get through this question smoothly, let's get this at 8, then you don't really know it. So when you see that, again, times 3, because it's on the bottom, 2x equals 24, divided by 2, x equals 12. If you can't get through it smoothly, that means you don't really know it, and so you're running the risk of not doing so well on that quiz when you take it. So if you notice every example included x on the left side, just be sure to notice that they are going to be flipped around. Today represents another day of being assigned a high number of problems, but it is the last time that should happen because it's foundation work. Again, be sure to take this section and last section seriously. Otherwise, you're going to fall short when things start getting serious. Tomorrow we're going to look at 2.2 again with a different type of question. And other than that, like I said, good luck.